How's it going, everyone? Nick from Comic Culture here. It's time for Nick at Night, my weekly comic book review show. Let's get into the books I read this week. Starting over in Marvel with the Ultimates issue number 13. This is the Ultimates version 3.0. So what does that mean? We uncover all that inside the issue. They've had a lot of setbacks recently. They've gotten their butts kicked all over the place. They're not exactly where they need to be power-wise to take on this maker threat that's going to be coming in the coming months. So they need to do something to revamp the team, add more people to their ranks, re-strategize their efforts right here. And that's kind of what we do inside of this issue. It's Iron Lad-centric, so there's a lot of cool things that he's doing inside of here. There is some things I don't want to spoil about this issue. Leads to some revelations, and I think it's pretty cool what's going on. It's a very melancholy type of an issue. There is some action moments in here. We do touch base with a lot of different people. The artwork is awesome, like always inside the issue, but there are some concerns that are brewing, I think, inside this issue in general, inside the story. So I think it's interesting to see where it's going to be going from there and how stable this person can be over a long period of time. That's going to be pretty cool, but other than that, they're growing their ranks very, very quickly. And, in doing that, they're building out the Ultimates teams. So, when the Maker comes around, they're going to have tons and tons of resources available to combat whatever forces he brings with him. But will it be enough? Who knows, guys? We're going to be checking this out going forward. It's a series I'm still really excited about. Cool things happening inside this issue. Again, there's some surprises I do not want to give away. Read the issue. You'll find out. Let me know if you guys read it. Continuing Marvel, we have Hickman and Assad Rubik on Aliens vs. Avengers issue number 4. What a great series this has been. If you're into the Aliens lore, highly recommend checking this one out. Hickman, I think, did a really great job of blending these worlds together. Of course, Mr. Sinister would be interested in the aliens, their race, their abilities, their way of colonizing and taking over entire planets, the anatomy of them. Of course, he'd be interested in all that stuff. And I just love how they blended everything together. The heroes that are introduced in the book are like old man versions and old woman versions of themselves, and I just love how they interact with each other. The history is implied. They feel the weight of time on them and the weight of experience as well. Sacrifice plays being made all over the place. I love the position that the Wakandans are in here as well. We get a cool little backstory about how they colonized and have gone out into the cosmos and have done really interesting things out there. But even they fall victim to the threats that are inside this book. Amazing artwork in here. Maybe not as strong in this issue as I've seen before, but still really, really cool read nonetheless. I would have loved to live in this world a little bit more, but I think the pacing was okay. We did a lot inside this issue. It is oversized, so we are getting a longer issue just in general, but I would have loved another couple of issues to really kind of settle in this universe, explore a couple more cool things, but it was cool, man. A collected edition of this would be outstanding. Let me know if you guys read it. All right, let's go over to DC. We have New Gods issue number 7. Of course, Ron V is on this one. We have Evan Cagle on the art. Guest artist on here is Maury doing the first couple of pages. So a lot of cool things happening inside the story in general. Of course, we have High Father coming down to Earth essentially with all of his children and whatnot. We have the Justice League stepping in right there. We have Orion. We have Mr. Miracle. We have this prophesized child. We have this unknown threat that's wiping everybody out across the galaxies and things like that. A lot of cool things in motion right here. And this is our issue where we finally get some of our heroes teaming up together, kind of meeting each other or re-meeting each other for the first time. And we get to understand some of the political drama around that as well. Like, what do we do with these people now that they're on Earth? Felt a little bit preachy, to be honest with you. I'm like, really? We're going to be worried about that kind of stuff right at this moment? Luckily, we get around that pretty quickly and we move on to the broader plot. There's some scheming going around as well inside the story, which I think is really cool. There's still some mystery, obviously. Like, we have to combat this threat. What does it mean to combat it? Who is this threat exactly? We're going to be exploring that, obviously, going forward, and we're going to have some pretty cool team-up moments throughout the series, I would anticipate. Evan Cagle's artwork in this series is awesome as well. He does a really great job with these nice, quiet, settling moments, but then he also has this ability to, on a term page, to just blow things all up and just give you that big kinetic moment that you really, really want to see to kind of break up that story, right? So really well done on the art side. The story is very interesting. There's lots of cool things to still explore inside of New Gods. I highly recommend this one. Let me know if you read it. All right, next up from DC is Zatanda issue number 5. Jamal Campbell pretty much doing everything on this book. And I will say that I think we have one more issue inside this arc. Story-wise, a little bit convoluted. There's a lot of different villains and minor villains inside the story that are pulling strings, backstabbing each other, things like that. So you do lose, or at least I lose, the narrative a little bit inside of here. The saving grace, obviously the visuals inside the story. There are so many great moments inside the book, great scenes, great environments, and I just love this Zatanda that's coming back into her own. She has a trick up her sleeve, no pun intended, to take on this villain right here, and she also gets reunited with some of her family inside the story too, and what she can pull from that experience is really awesome, I think. The coloring in here is so bright, it's vibrant, lots of great palettes being used here. And I don't know if it's a bad thing or not, but like a lot of the pages are like this right here. You have tons of stuff just going on. Lots of full page spreads, lots of chaotic compositions, things like that add to the story, but also can muddy it up if you're not careful about that kind of thing. So I would like another arc of this, like the second arc, to be a little bit more focused on a villain, little less chaos potentially, but balanced appropriately, I think. And I'm really on board for more Zatanda in the future from Jamal Campbell. Let me know if you guys read this one. What'd you guys think? All right, let's go over to Mad Cave. We have Vanishing Point issue number 2. So this is Mark Russell's story right here. Every issue is going to be a little bit different. And this is our second one here, seemingly focusing on a Jetsons kind of a story right here. But it gets much darker than that, if you could imagine, towards the end of the book when we start realizing what exactly is going on in here. So, of course, we have the Jetsons, futuristic utopia, right? But we have this little boy who's kind of rough around the edges. He's dirty. He's got black hair. He's got an eye patch. He doesn't fit in with all the other characters inside the story. And you can see him right over here. A little bit more depressed. He's kind of surprised about how easy and how nice everything is. It's almost like a dream come true. And we slowly learn that it really is a dream come true towards the end. And we have a real tragic conclusion that we witness towards the end of the book that kind of wraps everything together. Like, how do we get here? We get some explanation exactly about that. So really kind of an eye-opening issue, I would say. Vanishing Point in general has been doing that so far. We're 2 issues in. You know what you're going to get with Mark Russell. You got it right here inside the issue. Let me know if you guys read this one. All right, let's go over to Image and wrap this up. We have Blood and Thunder issue number 2 right here. Sereno on this, and we have Sue on the art. Now, I liked issue number 1. It was a cool combination of a couple different themes. There's like a Judge Dredd thing in here. I know I've said that before, but we have this society where we have different levels of crime rates and things like that, where a higher society's on top, and we have like the scums down below, right? It's that kind of a situation. These different layers of hell, so to speak. Blood is our main character. She is a bounty hunter. Her dad is well known in like the police force, things like that. She's trying to contemplate like what her path forward is. Does she join the squad? Does she not? She doesn't know. She's trying to weigh all those options right there. She has this AI powered gun that she relies upon, and they've been together for a long time, and so they know each other really well. They can handle pretty much any situation, and it's a pretty cool dynamic between the two of them. But aside from that, what am I going to do with my life going forward kind of a thing? There is a prison escape. This monster is on the loose right now, and it is just terrorizing everything, going level to level right now in this society, just ripping everything apart on its way. So it's going to be up to Blood and Thunder to save the day, and that's exactly where we're going to be headed in subsequent issues. Artwork is really cool. I like the speed of it. I'm interested in the characters, too. They're doing a good job of making you care about the characters and the situation that you're in. So Blood and Thunder issue number 2, pretty cool series so far. Let me know if you read it. Continuing with Image, we have Exquisite Corpses issue number 2. We have James Tynan on this one. Of course, we have Matthew Walsh on it as well. We had an oversized issue number 1, which we really, really needed. I think it was a great idea to do that because it set up the world. We got introduced to all the characters pretty slowly. It was a good pace to it, and it was just a good idea for an issue number 1. So issue number 2 obviously takes right up from there. We've basically engaged on our purge night at the moment. All these different serial killers are now going around town taking everybody out. Issue number 2 is slower. That does not mean that there's some action here and there, but there is a lot of talking head kinds of things, a lot of moments that are going to be set up for future payoffs happening inside of here. We get some of the less interesting killers taken out pretty quick inside of the book. Not only that, we touch base with a couple of the characters that are inside of the town that are a little bit oblivious to what exactly is going on still, so they don't really know what's happening at the moment. It's still early on in this night. And of course, we get some shady stuff happening with with all the different billionaires that are watching all of this take place right now too. So, you know, it's a little bit slower of an issue. It has its moments in here too, but there also is a lot of dialogue and a lot of talking. So we're going to see what's going on in subsequent issues. Still not a bad series in general. Cool concept and everything. A little bit slower than issue number 1 though. Number 2's out. Let me know if you read it. Now, the exact opposite of that pace-wise, we have Invincible Universe Battlebeast issue number 2. It's just as crazy as issue number 1. So if you like that, you're going to like this one right here. So Battlebeast still on his ship right now. The ship is begrudgingly taking him across the universe, trying to find a threat big enough, tough enough to take out Battlebeast. But before that, we have to actually refuel and take care of some business on this local planet. Of course, he gets thrown into some kind of battle arena type thing where only the strongest survive, and he goes ahead and, you know, takes care of business right there. They do identify his next threat, and they're going to be heading in that direction. The other incentive to going here and taking on this threat is it will help liberate this planet. And so it's going to be fun to see what Battlebeast does if that doesn't work. And I just can't wait to see more of this gore fest take place, man. There's so much disposable, there's so many disposable monsters inside the story that Battlebeast just dispatches with extreme prejudice throughout the entire issue right there. So spectacular issue. I just love how fast it is. I love how gory it is and insane. Got to be checking this one out. Let me know if you read it. Next up, we have Bug Wars issue number 5. Jason Aaron on this one, and we have Asar on the art. So this overall story is interesting. I like the idea of it. I think the execution of it is just taking its time, to be honest. And I think Jason Aaron does a good job of doing that, like setting up the first 5 issues or so, doing a lot of world building, introducing us to a lot of characters, a lot of cool situations, just kind of setting the tone for the book. And then around, you know, issue 6, 7, 8, things really start kicking off. And I think we're noticing that pattern inside of this story as well. Huge revelation at the end of the book. So we thought we understood the landscape. We thought we understood where people are, where they fit inside the story. Towards the end of the book, and then the very last page of the book, it kind of throws everything out the window a little bit. So it's going to be fun to see where we go. And I think the pattern I talked about before, we're going to witness inside of this story too. So I would say hang out. If you're kind of getting bored, I would say hang out to like issue 8 or 9, something like that, and then make a final decision. But this book here does touch base with a lot of the different mites around the yard, right? Like they know about this magical power. They know it's been absent for some time, and they're just trying to figure out their own ways of getting it and utilizing it for their own gains, right? They could control everything. And when I mean everything, I mean like beyond the yard too. We're talking like a worldwide control of some kind. It's gonna be kind of cool to see what that could look like, I would say, for sure. So Bug Wars. Interesting book. It's taking its time. I think it's going to build to something really cool. A lot of interesting things happen inside the book, which makes me think that we're going to get some really cool things happening in the next couple of issues. So I'm going to be sticking around with this one, seeing where it goes. Let me know if you guys are reading it. Then lastly, we have G.I. Joe issue number 8, Joshua Williamson, and we have Melina on the art right here. I like this issue a lot, actually. The previous one with like Beachhead and some of the other ancillary characters setting up some side, more ghost op kinds of characters. That was cool in itself, but I like this one here. We're kind of back with our main Joe characters. We have CoverGirl, we have Baroness doing some cool things right there. There's an interesting story happening right here with Baroness herself. They're kind of in like this danger room kind of a situation. All the Joes are training right now, and she has to get away for whatever kind of a reason. And we understand why she has to get away throughout this book, but there's a cool moment in here with CoverGirl. They have some interesting conversations. They're traveling together. They don't trust each other. They don't necessarily like each other. They're kind of stuck hanging out with each other at the moment. It does bring us a new villain as well that I've been really looking forward to. Joe is going to be heading in a very cool direction, I think. We have some teases as to where it's going to be going in previous issues, but I really enjoyed this issue, especially compared to issue number 7. I just like the team dynamics. I like where it's going. Some quiet moments in here, interesting character developments, I think. Just great moments overall inside of Joe this month. Let me know if you guys are reading this one. What do you guys think about this one? Let me know down below. All right, guys, that's all I was able to get my hands on this week. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you read and what your favorite books of the week were down below. While you're down there, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I put out new videos. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the comments.